This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(8:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. Amended circular issued on recalling public servants to work. The President directs the officials on administering Sinopharm first doses to people above the age of 30. The Finance Minister emphasizes the importance of reducing the import of essential goods and promoting the local production. 1,910 new cases of COVID-19 reported. COPA committee advises the relevant cooperative movement authorities to provide the essential goods at a reasonable price to island-wide consumers. Parliamentarian Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca says he does not object the Kothalawala Defence Academy Act. And in news overseas, Afghan officials say Taliban captures regional capital. And in sports news, Tokyo Olympics, USA win beach volleyball and Kenny sets record. Those were the headlines, and now more to the details of the local news. An amended circular on recalling state sector employees to work under the new health guidelines has been published today. The communique with the amendments to the circular number 2/2021 subsection 3 was issued by the Secretary to the Minister of Public Services, Provincial Council and Local Government, J.J. Ratnasiri. The circular says that each public servant is required to report to the office at least 3 days per week. Accordingly, they will work from office on shift basis to ensure the services provided by their respective institutions remain uninterrupted. The employees are obliged to work online even on a day they are not called to the office. The shift-basis work schedule is not applied to staff members who are provided with transport services by official vehicles or pool vehicles. They can report to work at the discretion of the head of the institution. Pregnant staff members and female officers with children below the age of 1 year will not be called to work, the circular further read. In addition, a flexible procedure will be followed if an employee suffers from an illness or has any valid reason not to be called to the office. The employees have been urged to follow health guidelines, wash hands, wear face masks, and to keep their workplace sanitized. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has directed the health authorities to make arrangements to administer the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccines to those aged above 30 years at any vaccine center rolling out the second dose. The government has placed purchase orders for COVID-19 vaccines in order to achieve the target of fully vaccinating the citizens above the age of 18 before this September, the President's Media Division PMD stated in a statement. The government is even ready to roll out a booster dose for the vaccinated individuals, the PMD added. An increase had been observed in the number of admissions in the hospitals in Colombo and other main cities due to novel coronavirus. Accordingly, the President stressed that any patient arriving at the hospital with COVID-19 symptoms should not be inconvenienced by this congestion. He went on to instruct the ministers, state ministers and the health officials to directly intervene and to put in a mechanism to prevent the inconvenience caused to the public at hospitals. The President's remarks came during a meeting of the Special Committee on COVID-19 Mitigation held at the Presidential Secretariat this morning, the PMD stated further. Meanwhile, the intelligence officials who attended the meeting pointed out that at least 1,500 people had attended a total of 120 protests carried out within the past month. They stressed that these public assemblies held in violation to the health regulations have accelerated the spread of COVID-19 in the country. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
And we continue with more local news. Ministry of Health says that another 1,910 persons have tested positive for the novel coronavirus so far today. All new cases reported today are associated with the New Year COVID-19 cluster. This increases the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 reported in the country to 323,339. Meanwhile, the total recovery stands at 288,307. Parliamentarian Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca says that he does not object the Kothalawala Defence Academy Act. He said a defence academy or university is important for the country. The parliamentarian also insisted that there should be a healthy discussion in this regard. He also commended the efforts of the president in promoting the organic fertilizer. Field Marshal Fonseca also stated that it was former President Mahinda Rajapaksa who provided the proper acceptance, due recognition and the honour to the Triforces. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Amended circular issued on recalling public servants to work. The President directs the officials on administering Sinopharm first doses to those above 30 years of age. The Finance Minister emphasises the importance of reducing the import of essential goods and promoting the local production. 1,910 new cases of COVID-19 reported. COPA committee advises the relevant cooperative movement authorities to provide the essential goods at a reasonable price to island-wide consumers. Parliamentarian Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca says he does not object to the Kothalawala Defence Academy Act. And that was the local news.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus, an unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112 357 357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for tonight, Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa emphasises the importance of reducing the import of essential goods and promoting the local production. This exercise will have large amount of foreign reserves and exchange. The minister made these remarks at a function to release 2 locally manufactured medicines to the market today. Addressing the gathering, the minister further said that it is important to promote local pharmaceutical productions so that the import of such medicines could be reduced or prevented in the future. The function was held at Ratmalana State Pharmaceutical Production Site. Locally manufactured tramadol and medicine used to control thyroxine were released to the market today. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And in Washington tonight, the police have provided a telephone number to the general public to report information regarding any activities related to child labour in the city of Colombo or suburbs. Police spokesman Senior DIG Ajith Rohan has said a special operation was initiated recently in the city of Colombo and the suburb areas in the Western Province to nab offenders. He said that if the public has any information in respect to child labour, they can provide such information to the Colombo Emergency Centre via its telephone number 0112 433 333. The number once again 0112 433 333. That came to you in Watchlight, and now we move on to the headlines of the world news. Taliban captures regional capital, Afghan officials say. Australia borders, citizens living overseas could be trapped if they return. Swiss woman found dead in Thailand near a waterfall. Those were the headlines, and now more to the details of the world news. A city in southwestern Afghanistan has become the country's first provincial capital to fall to the Taliban in recent years, the officials told the BBC. 2 sources said the insurgents had captured Zaranj near Nimros province this afternoon. It has not yet been officially confirmed. It comes as the Taliban continues to make rapid advances in the country as foreign troops withdraw. They have taken swathes of countryside and now are targeting key cities. Australians living overseas could be trapped in Australia if they return after the nation's government tightened its border rules without notice. Since March last year, the country has banned its citizens from leaving the country as a part of its COVID strategy. That restriction has not previously applied to Australians who usually live in other countries, but they will now need to apply for an exemption for outbound travel in line with the rules of other Australians. A Swiss woman has been found dead near a waterfall in Thailand on a resort island of Phuket. Local officials have identified the victim as 57-year-old Nicole Suvan and launched an investigation. The police found her face down in water covered by a black sheet with her phone, shorts and trainers nearby. It is yet unclear what happened to the Swiss national. Results of an autopsy are expected later today. And to conclude the local world news, the headlines once again. Taliban captures regional capital, Afghan officials say. Australia borders, citizens living overseas could be trapped if they return. Swiss woman found dead in Thailand near a waterfall. And that was the world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin pellets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Win lakhs and lakhs with CIB Janajaya. 40% discount for your bills till 15th of August. 6 hand tractors at the Grand Row. CIB Janajaya.
And in development news, Copa Committee parliamentarian Professor Tissa Vitarana says essential goods should be distributed to island-wide locations at a reasonable price by strengthening the cooperative societies in the country. The parliamentarian gave this advice when he met the members and officials of the cooperative department today. He further said that the cooperative movement was at a high standard in the past. However, the standard has deteriorated over the last 10 years. The cooperative movement should be developed to fill the gap between the distributors and the consumers. That came to you in the segment of Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin pellets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Win lakhs and lakhs with CIB Janajaya. 40% discount for your bills till 15th of August. 6 hand tractors at the Grand Row. CIB Janajaya.
Moving on to sports news, in Tokyo Olympics, 2 Belarusian coaches have lost their Olympic accreditations after allegedly attempting to force an athlete to leave the Games in Tokyo. The International Olympic Committee confirmed that Arthur Shimak and Yuri Maisov have left the Olympic Village. An investigation is underway. The case of Kristina Timanovskaya caught global attention after she refused her team's orders to fly home. She is now in Poland, where she has been granted a humanitarian visa. Still in sports news, Team USA celebrated beach volleyball success in scorching temperatures as Great Britain's Laura Kenny became the most successful female Olympic cyclist with a blistering victory on day 14 of the Tokyo Olympics. April Ross and Alex Kleeman beat Australians Mariafe Del Soa and Talika Clancy to win the first gold for the United States in women's beach volleyball since the year 2012. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
In business news, TG Lanka PLC has made an encouraging start to financial year 2021-22 with a solid top and bottom line growth in the 3 months ending 30th June 2021, shrugging off the pandemic-imposed shackles that has retarded the Quarter 1 growth last year and overcoming the impact of the third wave of COVID-19 on the country. Sri Lanka's largest textile manufacturer more than doubled the revenue to 10.4 billion rupees at group level for the 3 months, posting a growth of 119%, achieved a 27-fold improvement in its profit before tax of 385 million rupees and converted last year's Q1 net loss of 31.5 million rupees into a post-tax profit after taxation of 310.5 million rupees in Q1 2021-22, the group's third consecutive quarter of profit growth. That was the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
And in economic news, Sri Lanka has welcomed 2,439 tourists in July 2021, up from zero a year earlier, taking the total so far in the year 2021 to 19,337 under COVID-19 controls known as biobubble, data from the State Tourism Promotion Bureau shows. More tourists are expected with the launch of Colombo Russian direct flights. That was economic news, and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And finally, the weather report. The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Nuwara Eliya district. A few showers will occur in the western and northwestern provinces and in the Galle, Mathura, Kandy and Mathale districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Ampara and Batikulo districts in the evening or night. Fairly strong winds up to 50 km per hour can be expected in the western slopes of the Central Hills, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota district. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com says that the Colombo weather was bright during the day. Today's daytime temperature was around 29 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 27 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers on selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be around 28 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The Air Quality Index AQI is 16, which shows a fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. And that was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. Amended circular issued on recalling public servants to work. The President directs the officials on administering Sinopharm first doses to those above the age of 30. The Finance Minister emphasizes the importance of reducing the import of essential goods and promoting the local production. 1,910 new cases of COVID-19 reported. The COPA committee advises the relevant cooperative movement authorities to provide the essential goods at a reasonable price to island-wide consumers. Parliamentarian Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca says that he does not object the Kothalawala Defence Academy Act. And in news overseas, Afghan officials say Taliban captures regional capital. And in sports news, in Tokyo Olympics, USA wins beach volleyball and Kenny sets a record. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.